Well, here's our next repair in the blowmold ward. It's a holiday candle made by Union Products in Neominster, Massachusetts. This is pretty old, and I don't know exactly what the age is, but you're lucky to find them. But when you do find them, they're generally damaged on the edge. And this orange here part is so fragile. What happens is these fall over and it lands right on that edge, and that's what causes it to crack and fall apart. We're gonna fill this in with thermoplastic, and then we're gonna reinforce the back. Can't do a lot about this crack. Whatever we do, the light's gonna really broadcast the repair, so we're gonna stick to this up here. And with this solidified, that should help stop that. I'm not even going to drill it because it's going to be really obvious. So otherwise it's in pretty good shape, the rest of it. So let's get started. Before we start repairs, we're going to take some denatured alcohol. You can't use anything stronger than this on these candles. It'll dissolve the candle head, the glass area, the orange area. So again, denatured alcohol to clean these areas here, so we get some adhesion. See, this won't hurt the orange, but if you use lacquer thinner, for example, it would melt it. So alcohol's pretty light duty, and it cleans off real good. You gotta clean this area so the plastic putty sticks to it. And it's cracked all the way around. We're gonna do some bracing here vertically too. Okay, I think that's pretty good. It'll give us a better surface to stick to. Okay, so we're gonna apply the putty from the inside to create a back brace. We're gonna, it's hard to see with the camera, but we're gonna do more towards the top here to create a base that you won't see. And then we're gonna build upon that base to come down around this glass area. We're also gonna take and fill this in vertically from behind to create some stiffening here. So it's going to be a matter of working it and kind of transitioning it into this corner. So my thinking is it's a candle out in the snow, so it does not have to be perfect. And I could see where the manufacturer didn't get super perfect about the mold because it's a candle covered with snow. So get some putty formed enough to get in here. We're gonna put it up in there, mold it along here to catch a little bit of this to kind of create a lip on both sides to catch this glass. And you got to be careful when you're working it because it's so brittle, it's just going to keep on cracking. Here we're going to use some methanol moldable plastic pellets in a casserole dish with hot water, 170 degrees. That's what they request. Pour it in hot water, just kind of sprinkle it, broadcast it over the entire surface versus just dumping it in a pile, because in a pile the center never wants to melt. What happens is these pellets will turn like a clear silly putty, a moldable silly putty. I might as well use them all. On to the next batch. They start white, but when they turn clear in the hot water, they're ready to mold. Okay, make sure your hands are clean. Have a towel at the ready, a nice clean towel. So you don't want to get this, put this stuff on wet. Maybe it'll tacky but not wet. So here's the consistency of it once the pellets soften up. So we're gonna make a piece to go along here, kind of a long hot dog, and start molding it in. And it's got to be a little thicker. to do a smaller area because it's got to kind of cover the glass and the top of the frame. Keep just tamping your hands, don't let the plastic touch anything. Let's start over here. Don't let it touch the orange because it'll stick there. So I'm pressing it on the inside, some of it to go up and around the dome area here, and the rest of it to fill this area in. And it immediately starts to solidify into, I shouldn't say solidify, but mold into the area you want. You could put it back in the water to soften it up again. We're going to move over this way a little bit, see how it looks. Go here. Now we're going to start going over the orange part so we can create kind of a lip around the orange that travels up to the top to give the orange something to anchor into. This is going to be a little tricky. Always make a little more than this putty than you need. Now we're going to build a round edge here with another kind of a noodle I made, or hot dog. See how we drop it right in to form this, to continue this line right here. And again, it's snow on a candle outside, so it's not going to be a perfectly machined surface. Okay, lip it over a little bit to catch the orange and hold it in place. Take and taper the top as much as you can so it blends. You got to spill over into the dome a little bit, but it kind of looks like snow once it hardens. So now we got a little bit over the dome. We got it plenty on the inside. We got to roll some of this on the inside. Roll it over to create this, finish this line here. Need a little more here. Take a little wet piece, put it right in there. Not bad. There's the unprepared edge. That's the rough finish. It's already hardened. You can see the orange now is locked in place. It's not going to crack anymore. Well, if it falls on it, it will, but again, we can't do much with the crack, and it actually gives a little kind of character like an old streetlight glass. So what we're now going to do is just round this off with the heat gun so we get a uniform finish. You could use a hair dryer as well if you don't have a heat gun. And it'll melt it clear again and kind of settle it. It'll kind of turn up like almost like frosting. Now you can do your final molding. Get them. Now you can tuck those edges in. And your uniformity as far as following the other line. You could go a little bit more. Also, when you heat it, it gets adhesive again. It helps it kind of flow into place. But don't get carried away because you'll melt this orange like it's a slice of butter. It'll just sink and be gone. I kind of use your nail to get that edge round. It's going to be hot. Flatten where the clay ends so it blends. Almost like when you're doing body work on a car. Push them edges in, get them as uniform as possible, or flush I should say, as possible. See, it's taking on a nice round edge now. Keep in mind, you can't get inside now, so you got to make sure the inside is good as you're putting the putty in. When you're doing your initial repair, long nails are great. Not that they're long, but having some nails allows you to push these edges clean. You can also take some popsicle sticks and ride that along the edge, but I'm not too concerned because it looks like snow. That'll turn white. You could kind of see where that lip goes around the inside and catches the plastic. Now it's not going in anymore. Let's work this edge towards the brim a little bit. Or this brim to the vertical stabilizing bar. If you heat it, you can kind of re-stretch it again. I wanted to catch this strut right here. And so it does a softer taper, which it did. So when you get it where you want it, that looks pretty good. To get your fingerprints out, go over it one last time and it'll turn clear. The fingerprints will melt away. Look at that, perfect. Now it's got a glaze to it. Excellent. Also, what you're going to want to do, I would anyway, I would take some more putty and put it up in under this edge, inside, all around. That's going to reinforce this edge, keep the other side from breaking. Because consider, you're adding weight. Adding this adds weight to the side. It's going to be heavy on that side, but it's going to fall on something hard. But if it falls on the softer edge with this extra weight, it could do more damage too. So again, inside this lip, all around on the inside, push putty. And that'll create a nice ring. I did that already. It's a solid ring now. If it falls, it's not going to crack. We got that new edge line. All that broken, missing stuff is now filled in. The crack that was here originally is solidified. It's not repaired, but it gives it kind of character. It's an old kind of lantern street light. So you could keep on heating this, either with a hair dryer or a heat gun, and you could keep slowly making it perfect. It's a nice solid repair. Well, now that we're finished the repair, we're going to do some airbrushing. So I'm going to set up the airbrush and I'm going to do white around this area here, the braces. But I'm not going to soak it or make it an absolute perfect white. It's going to kind of be, I'm probably just going to paint over, brush this up and paint over what's here. So when I set up the airgun white paint, I'll do sandalwood list. We're going to start working on Mary, and we'll do the top and the sides. So it's going to be good. Thank you for watching.